Hello, I'm Chris, this is Gross Models. Welcome to issue 66 of the Terminator, build the T800 from Hachette and Studio Canal. This is it, this is getting there, well over halfway, well just 60 is halfway, so we're over halfway. We're continuing what we've been doing for the past month basically, adding another part to the lower right leg. We're getting there, we're almost there, but we're not quite there yet. Now the parts we have this time are in the tray. We have a sprue with two little cosmetic parts, a tube which is the lower leg part officially called. We have 66-1 cap for lower leg part, what's this bit here? This is 6, which is the screw housing down there, and we have a bag of washers and screws. So we'll get rid of the plastic, we don't need that anymore. I'll open those up when needed and get those off the sprue when needed as well. Let's move all this to one side and we'll see exactly what is going to be happening with this issue. Right, step 1. Take the lower leg part 62 and the two end caps and fit them. It's as easy as that. Now they obviously are different sizes, so that won't fit there, but it will fit there. I don't think it's tight enough, so we're not going to need any glue or anything on that. That fits on there, and that one fits internally there. Now there is a seam line down here, and there are a couple of sort of rough spots on there, so I'm going to line those up in the same sort of area as the seam lines, and when we assemble it we'll be able to get it so it's not visible, not looking bad. The problem with these plastic chromed parts, you can't do very much apart from completely strip it and re-chrome it, which isn't something I'm going to be doing with this kit. So you can't actually sort of sand down the seam line because you'll just sand off the chrome plating. But we'll make it look as good as we possibly can. By the time we've done some weathering on this as well, it will be virtually unnoticeable. So we're continuing with this. We're going to need some bits out of here, so let's get these open now. And the screw bags. Now with all of these part works, they give you more screws than you need, so if they give you 2, there's a good chance you're going to need 1. So as there's 2 of each, I'm going to put 1 of each to one side and just use the ones we're doing. Right, so step 3 is getting the part from last time, which has 1 empty spot, which we're going to conveniently fill with that end of that will be going in there. So that has a screw thread inside it, that end doesn't. So to go in there we need this, just like last time. It says use tweezers, but you really don't need to. So when that pops in there, that will go through the hole remaining and come out on the inside there. We can hold that in place with a screw while we get this again the right way round and put that in there. We can turn both bits, one bit. If you do both at the same time, it does it a bit quicker. Being careful as ever with these parts, you're putting a metal screw into a plastic part, so don't put too much force, don't over tighten it. It will be loose, it will move around a bit, because this is all the leg piece that they're going to be pistons in them and pointing at different directions as you manipulate and move the part. So that's part 5, it looks just like that. The next part is going to be using the pieces off the sprue. It says use a knife, but being a model maker, I've got some model making nippers, which will provide a sharper, cleaner cut than using even a craft knife on it. Now these, again, being a chromed plastic, get rid of the excess. You might need to correct that edge depending on how it's cut. Now it will be slightly undercut, so you can file that one a little bit if you need to, just to get rid of a rough edge. That one's not so bad either, as again, but don't file the top bit because you'll just take the plating off. Again, it's not going to look perfect, but it will be weathered afterwards anyway, so I'm not worrying too much about that. Right, on to step 7. We're basically sticking that in place onto there. You know which one goes where because it's that shape. So it's going to be sticking into there, he says, like that, very conveniently, not fitting. Yeah, it's going to go in there a bit like that, but you do need to glue these in place. So before I stick that in there, I should get my glue delivery method ready. The glue I'm using on this is a thick gel glue. It's Gorilla Super Glue. Any super glue will do it, no doubt. Just use one that you're comfortable with, that you can control and get where it needs to go. This one, I say, being quite thick, doesn't like coming out the pot. There we go. Just a bit, just to come out of there. And a small cocktail stick to apply it. So get the bit you're putting in. I'll do this side. It's got two little pegs that will be located into place. So we need to get those, get some glue on and around those, and then drop it into place. Make sure it is fully in. It will be slightly raised from the surface because that's the whole point. If it wasn't, then there wouldn't be any point in putting the bit on there. They just mould it into it. So let's do the same again with the other one, the other side. Doesn't really matter if you get glue on the inside of that, because that's obviously not going to be seen, but be careful not to splurge it around your edges. Get that lined up and popped home around there. So leave that to dry. It doesn't take a long time for this glue to dry, and it's not exactly a moving part that's putting any strain anyway, so I'm going to continue on around those. Now this is the part where my forethought comes into play. It says to take the model assembly and have the whole kit laid out on your bench. Now it's massive. I haven't got room for all of that. So what I did previously was basically not attach the knee joint. This is the knee joint that attaches to the upper leg, and this is where the lower leg goes. I've not attached it. It fits with one screw through there, and this fits into the other pivot. But I figured it'd be easier to work on the leg, just working on the leg, without having the whole body floating around with us as well. So I have that as if that was attached to the entire top part of the body, but it isn't. So it's, you know, just easy. So that is, as you can see in the little graphic down there, what I've got there and what I've got there, and that's going to fit into there like that. But before we screw it in place, we need the screw and, indeed with this, a washer. So of course they give us two washers because, as I said, they always give you one extra to what you really need. You put in the washer over the screw. It's a split washer, so that gives a bit of tension. Hold that in place with the screwdriver so you can get where you need to go. Now on this one I'm going to aim for, you can see better than me actually down there, that middle hole through there. That's where the screw needs to go. So that comes out through the top there a little bit, and then that will go into the middle of that piece and tighten down. So this one, again, you'll feel it tightening into place, and when it gets tight you sort of want to stop, but because of the way the interior of this has got that raised mesh, it will click into place into several different locations. So get it into a location you like and then tighten it down a little bit further. There's probably still going to be able to move this once it's tight, but it shouldn't be loose that it's moving on its own. So let's get another half turn out of that. There we go. So that's now secure, but will still turn. That's what that split washer allows us to do, because it just compresses a little bit to allow that little bit of movement. So there we have that stage complete. It shows it obviously pictured fitted to the knee, but I say mine isn't. But that's what it looks like at the moment. And that is the end of the build for this week, and indeed this month. This is the last of the packs that I've had delivered today. So looking at the rest of the magazine, quick look through there, we've got Star Trek 4, a film that I've seen at last in one of these. It's all there. Bits about that, and then the real world science part is obviously about whales. Not the country Wales, it's about a whale because they feature in the film. So yes, there we go, talking about extinctions of whales causing a global crisis. And finally, the back page in a nice bright yellow. We'll be back in next week's issue we're assembling the ankle joint for the right leg. Now obviously it says next week, but because I'm on subscription and get 4 of these every month, it means next month. So you'll be waiting around for another few weeks until I get another package, in which case I shall start assembling the ankle joint for the right leg and obviously building on from there. I'm assuming now that we're going to finish this leg and foot and then progress on to the next leg. So I'll probably leave the knee disconnected for now. We'll finish this leg and leave the leg off as I've got the arms off. So when I assemble the next leg, it will be easier to do that without it having, you know, a whole leg attached to it. And then we'll just assemble everything together. So thank you very much for watching. That was issue 66. So next up, 67 is going to be starting on the right leg, the foot, which is a new part. I mean, this is a new part. We haven't done the bottom half of a leg before, but yes. So thank you for watching. Stay safe, and I'll see you soon for more of the same. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.